The Senate will please come to order. We're returning from a recess, and now we'll move into the orders of the day. We have on the calendar for action H534, an act relating to sealing criminal history records, read for the first time on March 23rd, and it was referred to the Committee on Judiciary, which reports it has considered the bill, and that the bill be amended as set forth on pages 2750, 2756 of today's calendar, and that when so amended, the bill ought to pass. Please listen to the second reading of H534.
H534, an act relating to sealing criminal history records.
The senator from Caledonia, Senator Benning, is recognized for the report of the Committee on Judiciary.
Thank you, Madam President. There is a floor amendment, Madam President. I don't know if you wish to take that up first.
The amendment's being circulated, and we'll do the report first, and then we'll do the amendment.
President, may I speak about the underlying bill as well as the amendment?
You may.
Madam President, in order to lay the backdrop for this particular bill, I thought it would be important to give the Senate a little bit pat on the back as a result of some work that was done 12 years ago. This expungement process is something that up until 12 years ago did not exist. And I had the good fortune of signing on to the first bill that brought it about with the senior senator from Bennington County. And it was my first opportunity to work in a bipartisan matter to bring something that at the end of the day has resulted in a great benefit to a great many people in Vermont. The expungement process, which actually originated in another state, came about as a result of something that actually happened to me. And I was present in this chamber a couple of weeks ago when the junior senator from Bennington County gave us a presentation about an event that happened to her at the age of 13 when she first encountered a police officer. Back in 1975, I was a member of a rock and roll band and had long hair that reached my shoulders and in the middle. That may sound funny now, but I've saved a lot of shampoo through the years. On a particular occasion when my band was practicing in my home state of New Jersey, we took a break. And as we took a break, one of the people who was there listening to us practicing, a girl, walked out on the front porch with me. The dog that lived in the house. The dog did not live in the house. Neither did I. But we sat down on the edge of the porch, and suddenly I was looking up the barrel of a police shotgun. A very scared and nervous police officer on the other side of that shotgun. Now, this is at a time when we were just coming out of the Vietnam War. And I will not pretend to be experienced in the life of a BIPOC individual and how they live in this police. But I will say I have at least tasted the sting of being falsely accused of something. When the officer told me to go back inside the house, told the young woman I was sitting next to take her dog and go home. It was kind of odd because the dog lived in the house. The girl wasn't stupid. She took her dog, that dog, and went home with it. I had to go back inside the house. Fast forward a little bit, the officers found 2 empty hashish pipes in the bedroom upstairs. And they invited us to accompany them to the police station to answer some questions. Now, I was young and naive and did not really understand what was going on, but the bottom line was we were actually being arrested. And they had parked their cruisers behind the church that my family had attended for 3 generations. They put us into the squad cars, telling us, well, for our safety, we have to handcuff you. So we all were handcuffed and brought down to the police station and went through having our fingerprints and photographs taken. And then I had to go and face my parents. Now, this may come as a shock to some of you, but I never had anything to do with marijuana whatsoever. And at the time, my parents literally went through the roof thinking I had gone to the dark side, and had to explain to them that this was all a false accusation. And they suggested that I go and talk with the chief of police, who was a friend of our family's and had been for at least 2 generations. And when I went to the chief of police house, he looked at me, and I explained to him that his officers got it wrong. I was being falsely accused for something that I didn't do. I fully expected that he would say, I'll look into it and take care of it. And instead, he said, I'll tell you what, you get your hair cut, go down to the recruiting office for the Marines, and I'll take care of it from here. That did not sit well with me at all. Much longer story. I'm trying to make it short as possible, but you'll get around to learning why expungement is so important. We got to the day of arraignment, and the prosecutor came out and said, we don't have all the evidence back yet, but if the owner of the house takes a $50 fine, we will let the rest of you go and consider that this never happened. Well, the owner was happy enough with that. He took the $50 fine. My parents and I went down to the police station and watched as the officers tore up my file and deposited it into the garbage can. And they said, as far as we're concerned, this never happened. That was in 1975. 1983, I was sitting in the law library at Vermont Law School filling out an application for the bar exam. There was a question on the bar exam that said, have you ever been arrested? Well, as far as I knew, it never happened. But on the off chance that somebody might actually stumble across something, if I said this record is clean, I decided to go back to that police station and double check. And lo and behold, I found another file with my fingerprints and photographs still in existence. Luckily, my home state had an expungement process, and I had to pay for a lawyer to go through and get my record expunged. So when I arrived at the Senate in 2011, I was determined, because I learned Vermont did not have an expungement process, to get an expungement process for Vermonters. I am very grateful to Senator Sears, senior senator from Bennington, who I recognize is now behind me on screen, and I'm hoping he's not making faces at me, is somebody who worked very hard to get that bill through the legislature. And frankly, it is one of the fondest memories that I have being here as a senator. I am very proud to say that after 11 years, over 25,000 Vermonters have received an expungement. And that is very important. We learned about people who were now in their 70s who desired to go on school trips to chaperone their grandchildren's school trip, who couldn't because they, at the age of 18 or 19, had been busted on something as simple as the possession of a marijuana charge. So this process is very important to a lot of people. Through the years, we have looked at the number of crimes that fall within the category of what's called a qualifying crime, and have decided at various times to look carefully, think, what if we added that to the list of expungible crimes? And that is precisely what's going on with this bill today, Madam President. When the original bill came over from the House, it was actually couched in terms of trying to design a process of sealing to make it more convenient for various players in the judicial system. And we kind of looked at that in the Judiciary Committee in the Senate and said, well, the sealing process is nice for certain circumstances, but the way this is being presented to us, it actually is diluting the overall intent of an expungement process. It is literally to get rid of a record, period. So in the Judiciary Committee in the Senate, we decided to actually eliminate the ceiling discussion that was going on and instead maintain the list of qualifying crimes that the House had proposed to us, which would be an expansion of the number of offenses that were currently on the expungement statute. So what you see in the calendar today, specifically, I would refer you to page 2752, because you're going to see a couple of changes that have expanded the process, if you will. Top of the page, under subsection A, you'll see all misdemeanor offenses. And then there is an exception. The Roman numerals 1 through 12 are actually offenses that are not expungable. And that's important because many of the offenses, as you know, from reading this list, are either violence or something that we would never want to expunge someone forever. But other than that list of 10, all misdemeanors would now be expungable. At the bottom of the page in subsection B, you have to look at it in reverse. No felonies are expungable except for the list that you see that follows in the Roman numerals thereafter. These are not violent offenses. These are not sexual offenses. These are not offenses which are known as the Big 12, the most egregious that you can imagine in criminal law. We are expanding the number of offenses, and that is all we are doing with this particular bill. Your committee heard from a number of witnesses. They included Lori Canty, the Director of Trial Court Operations, Legislative Counsel Michelle Childs, David Diamora, the Senior Policy Advisor for the Council of State Governments Justice Center, Joshua Gaines, the Project Manager at Corrections and Reentry, Council of State Governments Justice Center, Eric Jacobson, the Co-Director of Community Justice Division at the Attorney General's Office, Tucker Jones, the Assistant General Counsel of the Department of Public Safety, Jennifer Micah, the General Counsel for the Department of Children and Families, Marshall Paul, on behalf of the Defender General's Office, Jeffrey Wallen, the Director of the Vermont Crime Information Center. Committee vote was 5-0, Madam President, and we would ask for this body's support. Thank you.
The question is, shall the Senate propose to the House to amend the bill as recommended by the Committee on Judiciary? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, and you propose to the House to amend the bill as recommended by the Committee on Judiciary. The senator from Caledonia is now recognized for amendment.
Thank you, Madam President. I believe the body has received the handout that is proposed as an amendment. At the last moment, we thought the fact that the title of the bill was still going to be couched in terms of sealing and expungement. All that we are trying to do with this amendment is to make sure that we are concentrating on expanding the eligibility of expungement as well as sealing of certain criminal records. Again, the committee vote was 5-0, and we would ask for this body's support.
The question is, shall the Senate further amend the bill as recommended by the senator from Caledonia? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you further amended the bill as recommended by the senator from Caledonia. The question now is, shall the bill be read for the third time? Are you ready for the question? The senator from Windsor is recognized.
Thank you. May I inquire of the reporter of the bill, please?
You may.
Madam President, I'm not sure I've heard members who will be working on this in the court system. Did you hear from the state's attorney's office? I don't think I heard. Did you? You didn't list them as a witness.
I did not list all of the witnesses, but all of the players in the judicial system were testifying in committee. We normally see state's attorneys, the Attorney General's office, the defense bar. I did not list any of those reserves.
Thank you very much. I guess I would just, as the players who will be dealing with the increased challenge of what they can know or not know about the people they're working with in court, may I ask what the response was of the state's attorneys and the Attorney General's office?
I would say, Madam President, that if there was pushback, it came from quarters who preferred to have a unified single sealing system. And that primarily came from state's attorneys, from police, and from, I think the judiciary fell into that category if my memory serves. The sealing process, though, your committee did not want to go down that road because it effectively removed the permanency of expungement where that was very much desired in our committee.
Thank you, Madam President.
The question is, shall the bill be read for the third time? The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I will just make a comment on the question that was just asked about their response. And we need to remember that there is a long time before you can have your record expunged or sealed, either one. There, for different crimes, there's a 3-year period. You have to finish all of your the restitutions and everything from your crime. Then there's another 3-year period. So for most of them, you can't get the record expunged for, it's almost 7 years. So I think that that's important to remember, that when we're dealing with people, we're dealing with really old records here, and they should not have necessarily have an impact on your current situation. Thank you.
Senator from Caledonia is recognized.
I thank the senior senator from Windham because it reminded me that a couple of other points that I should have made. This is not an automatic process, with one exception: municipal ordinance violations and any crime that we as a legislature decided is no longer a crime. Those things would be automatic. But other than that, a person has to petition. A period of years has to go by. They have to have completed their sentences, including paying for any restitution that may be outstanding. And only then, if a judge feels it is in the best interests of all involved. So it is not an automatic process. And that was part of the discussion that we were having with some who were preferring a sealing. That sealing process was desired by some, but the more we looked into it, we realized that there were studies telling us that people who had prior records of that kind of age, there was no way to say that that was a predictor of what their activity might be in the future. So we decided that we were not going to go down the road of sealing. We wanted to make it permanent.
Question is, shall the bill be read for the third time? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've ordered third reading of H 534. There's been a request to pass over S 165. So we will move forward to H 159. We have on the calendar for third reading, H 159, an act relating to community and economic development and workforce revitalization. Third reading was ordered on April 15th, Are there any amendments before third reading? The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I almost forgot about this. This amendment, I believe it's, yes, it's on page 2758, if I can see through my foggy glasses. What it does is it, when Vermont Yankee closed down, there was an agreement that they would pay $2 million a year for 5 years that was intended to bolster up the economy of Windham County because there was going to be a lot of loss around jobs and businesses. That money went to ACCD, the Agency of Commerce and Community Development, and has been administered through there. There's always been some feeling in Windham County that perhaps it should have been administered through the Regional Development Corporation there, but it has not. We're now well past that. The money has all been loaned out. It's a revolving loan fund, so it's starting to come back. And we would like there's a whole plan around Windham Partners that includes the Regional Development Corporation, which is Brattleboro Development Corporation, Windham Regional Planning Commission, the various towns in the area, and CEVEDS. And they are looking to administer these loans so that they can be more responsive, because they know best the needs of the area and can be more responsive and flexible in serving the economic needs of Windham County. So we are asking that the loan fund be transferred and all the outstanding loans be transferred to BDCC for their administration. And we would ask for the support of this body. This is important to Windham County, and they work really hard on this, and we think they know their needs better than a state office. Thank you.
The question is, shall the Senate proposal of amendment be amended as moved by the senator from Windham, and the senator from Chittenden is recognized?
Thank you, Madam President. We had Senator White in our committee to present this amendment, and upon follow-up, we talked with the Commissioner of Economic Development, and this morning we had the Secretary of the agency in, as well as Legislative Counsel. I think everybody on both sides of this issue share the same goal. There were raised some questions about the formality of how you close down a special fund and what the ability is to transfer loans. If you look at this amendment, it's worded very oddly at best, I would say. It just says it's the legislative intent to do this, but it doesn't mandate anything. So our committee took a vote and we're unanimous in support of the amendment, understanding it's a placeholder that we can discuss this further in conference and the parties can further discuss this issue. Thank you.
The question is, shall the Senate proposal of amendment be further amended as moved by the senator from Windham? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've amended the Senate proposal of amendment. Are there any additional amendments before third reading? The senator from Chittenden is recognized for his amendment.
Thank you, Madam President. Our amendment is being passed around. The Senate may remember from my remarks last Friday that I concluded that the senator from Franklin and I would be having an amendment dealing with SALT. Many of you may not know what that is, but I'll explain that. SALT is a sort of an infamous issue that came forward most prominently in the Federal Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2007. SALT stands for state and local taxes. And businesses, when they do deduction up until that act, were able to take deductions fully of all state and local taxes. That particular act limited that, capped that to $10,000. Your state and local taxes, your property taxes, your income taxes, and they mostly affect small businesses, partnerships, LLCs, and S corporations. I was first introduced to this issue probably about a week or 10 days ago in Senate Finance, just about the time we were voting out our economic development bill. And the beginning line from the Commissioner of Taxes stuck in my head immediately. He said something to the effect, this is the closest thing to free money that the state of Vermont will ever see. And then he went on to describe this, and if you look at the amendment, you'll quickly see how dense this is and how complicated it is. However, the free money statement stuck in my head, and I leaned over to Senator Brock and I said, this would be perfect on our economic development bill. Do you want to work with me? And he said, absolutely. And we have been working on it ever since. The reason why the Commissioner of Taxes said he didn't think it was ready for prime time was he was fearful of the administrative burden, and also there had to be some complicated formula to make sure that while there would be significant reduction, everybody realized, in businesses' federal income taxes, we wanted to make sure there wasn't any reduction in state revenue on the state income tax. So there was work to be done, and the tax forms are not being printed until August and September. And I just didn't want to give up on what I thought was a significant amount of money, and you'll hear some astronomical numbers that are out there at this point. What this amendment does, is it reverts back to the way the law was prior to 2017. So our small businesses can take fully utilize income tax deductions for state and local taxes. The amount of money that we've heard about from the Commissioner of Taxes and from literature is, we've heard ranges from $250 million down to $40 to $50 million. But even at $40 or $50 million, if we can save our small businesses $40 or $50 million by them having greater deductions when they process their federal income tax, we should do that. Our bills struggle mightily to get $20 million for recovery grants for the same businesses. So there's no reason we shouldn't do this. And as evidence of that, since 2017, a handful of states started to do what is called, what is in this bill as a workaround to make sure you can take the full deduction. But finally, and there were challenges in the court, and finally in 2020, the IRS came out and gave their blessings to these workarounds. And fully 15 more states in the last year have done precisely what we're doing here. And I didn't think, and I don't think Senator Brock wanted to see us lose a year of these kinds of savings. So what we have done in this bill, there's still some more work to be done. But we do two things at the end of the bill, which I think is important. The rest of the bill is incredibly dense and technical. You can ask questions if you'd like. I'm not sure you're going to get satisfactory answers, but we did work with Legislative Counsel and the Tax Commissioner, and they're all in agreement that this does what we wanted to do. But there is an off-ramp for the state of Vermont for 2022, for calendar year 2022, if the commissioner finds that it's excessively burdensome to implement this in that time frame, and also if for any reason the taxes to the state of Vermont through a consensus modeling show that we may lose some taxes. The businesses are going to gain incredible amount of money on federal taxes, and all indications are they will save some money that the state taxes will be pretty close to even. So the problem is it's very sophisticated modeling, and that has to be done in the next month or two, three, and then there will be a green light as to whether we go forward with it for tax year 22. And as I said, we're sort of joining the bandwagon of states that are doing this for their small business community, and I think the time is now to do this. We heard extensively from Commissioner Volio, who supports this approach, our Legislative Counsel, Abby Shepard, the Joint Fiscal Office, Graham Campbell, and our committee and the people I could poll supported it 4-0. We hope the Senate will concur.
The senator from Washington is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. The one group not on the list of witnesses was the Finance Committee. This is tax policy, and so I would ask that we either table or pass over this bill until the Finance Committee can have a chance to work through its density.
I believe the senator from Washington has moved that we pass over this amendment.
Postpone action.
Or postpone action until There's further discussion. Are you ready for the question? Senator from Chittenden is recognized.
Madam Chair, Madam President, I don't have a problem with the motion. I just hope we can get some assurances that this could be taken up, because there didn't seem to be interest in the Finance Committee in wading into these details that are equally important to Finance and to the Economic Development Committee and to which is part of us.
Madam President,
Senator from Wyndham is recognized.
I'm going to request a short recess, please.
The senator from Wyndham is called for recess. The Senate will seek recess to the 12th chapter.
And the more exact amount in, but it's going to.
Senate will please come to order. Returning from a brief recess, and there is a motion. The senator from Washington has moved that action on H 159, particularly the amendment offered by Senator Sirotkin and Senator Brock, be postponed until tomorrow. Are you ready for the question? The senator from Chittenden is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senator Brock and I have concurred, and we support the senator from Washington's motion.
In that case, I do not believe we need to take a vote.
Yes.
We do need to take a vote. Well, the question is, the senator from Washington has moved that the Senate postpone action on H 159 until tomorrow. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you will postpone action now on H 159 until tomorrow. We will now move on to H 740, an act relating to making appropriations for the support of state. Third reading was ordered on April 19th. Are there any amendments before third reading? I believe the senator from Caledonia, Senator Kitchell, has an amendment and is now recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I do have an amendment. I believe it's being circulated.
Everyone have a copy? Okay. We have a moment for the pages to distribute copies of the amendment.
Thank you.
Does everyone have a copy of the amendment? If not, Senator, you may continue.
Madam President, obviously in a bill this large, we discover things that need to be added that were either not by accident omitted and we thought were there, or ended up in the wrong section. So in the first instance of amendment, we are correcting the global commitment because our personal needs allowance, which is provided to patients in nursing homes who are covered under Medicaid. It got moved to global commitment, and we needed to reflect that in the second. In the second instance of amendment, we are doing an insertion, and what we're doing is correcting the Medicare factor in the Department of Vermont Health Access. And then the third instance of amendment, we had in error put in the PNA allowance in the AABB appropriation, which we have moved to a different section, as I've just mentioned. The fourth instance of amendment is to move the personal needs allowance into the long-term care, because we're talking about patients who are in nursing homes, their allowance, they have personal needs. In the fifth instance of amendment, we are at 100,000, which was left out this is in the agriculture arena. We had 200,000 that was in the big bill to establish a grant program, and that was for the organic milk producers to do the upgrade so that they be served by a new buyer. And then what got left out is 100,000, which is we're adding here, the Produce Safety Improvement Grant Program. This is really new grants that have been administered by the Department of Agriculture in the past, and they really are more simplified method of providing assistance for washing stations for vegetables. And the seventh instance of amendment, we had language and it had to do with how we rate set the personal needs allowance. We had originally thought that those youth service bureau would be covered under that, but that is not the case. So we want to do a one-time appropriation to the youth. There are 5 youth service providers in the state, and do a grant of $20,000 per provider, and then the remaining would be granted in an equitable manner. So that is something new that was added because we realized we had a group of community-based providers who are really essential in providing services to our youth, who are oftentimes in very vulnerable situations. In the 8th instance of amendment, this is also new, and that was we needed to be clear, and we had left out that we wanted to make sure that we were covering providing grants not only to new regional dispatch facilities, but also to existing dispatch facilities. And I would point out that this release of money was not done in the budget that was passed by the other bodies. So there's going to be more work to get these dispatch centers online. But we heard, as I mentioned yesterday, that we have a system that is really very fragile. A lot of the calls are being routed on to other dispatch centers, and it is something that needs to be addressed in a fairly expeditious manner. In the 9th instance of amendment, we included the funding for the positions in the tax department, but we forgot to create them. So we're creating the positions to go with the money. In the 10th instance of amendment, this gets into private non-medical institutions. I'm sorry, I used the acronym PNMI. It is a Medicaid eligibility covered service. It's for facilities such as group homes. And we wanted to use similar language that we did for nursing homes in the BAA, and these entities are rate setted, and their cost year is, the base year is 2019, which, as you can imagine, the costs have increased very significantly since that period of time. So this is to that rate setting process so that we can more adequately align the reimbursement with the costs that are being experienced. The 11th instance of amendment is something that we added as a result of testimony yesterday, and that is we have within our sheriff's office, the departments, differing ways in which retirement benefits are provided. And in some, the employees have a 20-year retirement benefit after 20 years of employment. Others have 30. There's tremendous instability or movement from one office to another. There's what we view as a significant equity issue, and many towns are feeling that they are underwriting the cost of training and certification only to have an officer move after a period of time to a different sheriff's department. And this has been an ongoing issue for a long time. And what we want to do is have actually a cost analysis, understand where the positions are in which different retirement groups. And so that when we whoever comes back in the upcoming session, we can begin to address what has been a very long-standing inequity. And this would give us not only the numbers that are involved, but also the cost and the benefits. And finally, bringing some closure to this issue. In the 12th instance of amendment, we are simply adding the word including. Somehow we left it out, and it was pointed out to us by the chair of economic development. So it would be clear that money to be allocated for workforce, including investment initiatives to address critical skilled trades, et cetera. So we are adding the word including before the word investment. The 13th instance of amendment, we are adding the word install. It was correction. Once again, the 11th was a typo, and it should be 10 million rather than the 15, so we're fixing that. And then we're making the technical corrections to our effective date. So this amendment is being offered on behalf of all the members of the Senate Appropriations Committee, and we hope this body will concur. Thank you.
The senator from Chittenden is recognized.
Madam President, I don't know if this is for the presenter, but it seems as though there are two 11th instances.
Yes, there are.
I believe we should call the question first, and then we can take up the question to the presenter, if you don't mind. The question is, shall the Senate proposal of amendment be amended as moved by the senator from Caledonia and others? And
we're going to take a recess.
The Senate will stand in recess. We just lost
We have two cameras.
having an IT challenge. Just one moment.
That's a time.
Let me find out what
The Senate will stand in a brief recess until the fall of the gavel. The Senate will please come to order. We're returning from a brief recess due to a technology issue. A question was raised by the senator with regards to the various instances of amendment, and there will be a correction, as senators may see on the second to last page of the handout. There's the 12th instance of amendment, the 13th instance of amendment, and the 11th instant amendment. The 11th instant of amendment will be corrected to say the 14th, and the 14th instance of amendment will be corrected to say the 15th, will be considered a Scribner's error. The question is, shall the Senate proposal of amendment be amended as moved by the senator from Caledonia and others? The senator from Addison is recognized.
Madam President, may I inquire of the reporter of the amendment?
You may.
Thank you, Madam President. In the 10th instance of amendment, I missed what you said, and so I just want to clarify what the private non-medical institutions are, and maybe more.
PNMI, and their private institutions, it is a reimbursable provider under Medicaid. There are, for example, residential group homes for adolescents that are operated, for example, for children who are juveniles in the custody of the state. There used to be some, and they might still, individuals with developmental disabilities. And they, just like nursing homes, their reimbursement is rate set. There's a rate setting process. And they have a base year, and the rates are updated, I believe, on a 3-year cycle. And this would accelerate it because the base year for current reimbursement is 2019. So obviously the costs have changed very dramatically, and these facilities are saying that their reimbursement is not covering their costs. So we did the same provision for nursing homes in the BAA, and this is doing exactly the same for those other facilities that are subject to rate setting as the way in which their reimbursement is determined.
Great. Thank you, Madam President.
The question is, shall the Senate proposal of amendment be amended as moved by the senator from Caledonia and others? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've amended the Senate proposal of amendment. The senator from Caledonia is recognized again for the second amendment.
Thank you, Madam President. This amendment is being offered at a request that was made today to actually put a name on the a replacement facility for the Middlesex facility that was temporary since 2011. And this is the Essex facility that would serve patients who are receiving treatment from the operated by the Department of Mental Health. We added positions that were necessary for the operation of the facility, and naming of facilities is done now by the General Assembly. So in order to have something other than with a former Woodside or whatever, or the Middlesex replacement, the agreed upon name for this facility is the River Valley Therapeutic Residence. And this would be the method by which the General Assembly would sanction the naming of that facility. And I would move that we approve the name. This was not, was reviewed by our chairs of the two institutions committee to officially name this replacement facility that we are budgeting for in the 2023 budget. Thank you.
The question is, shall the Senate proposal of amendment be further amended as moved by the senator from Caledonia? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've amended the Senate proposal of amendment. Are there any additional amendments before? The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I had every intention of offering an amendment today, and I've been scrambling and working on it really hard. The chair of Economic Development Committee referred to the last amendment that I offered as oddly worded, and I think this one would have been even more oddly worded. And it was going to ask that in the planning that there be some acknowledgement of the redundancy that the regional dispatch center should plan. There should be standardized equipment. They should all be using the same equipment so that there was interoperability and redundancy built in, that they should plan for it, that there should be money for planning, and that there should be standardized governance, both at the regional level and at the state level. And I apologize to those who were counting on me to do this amendment. I simply could not get it together among everything else that I was doing, but I have talked to the chair of appropriations, and she is aware of the requests and will be addressing those issues in the conference committee. Thank you.
Are there any additional amendments before third reading? Please listen to the third reading of H 740.
H 740, an act relating to making appropriations for the support of government.
The question now is, shall the bill pass in concurrence with proposal of amendment? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Madam President.
Senator from Chittenden is recognized.
Apologies, Madam President. Yesterday, something caught my eye in the presentation, and I asked questions about an item that was $500,000. What can I say? Everybody loves a critic. In an $8 billion budget, I think it's important to recognize my comment yesterday was perhaps apropos of noticing a leaf on one tree in a giant forest. This forest includes record investments in climate, water quality, economic development, mental health, education. This is an impressive budget, and I didn't want my last words to be nitpicky, critical. I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you, Madam President.
The question is, shall the bill pass in concurrence with proposal of amendment? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
No. No.
The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you've passed H 740 in concurrence with proposal of amendment. There has been a request to pass over SR 16, I believe, as well as H 548, excuse me, which would then conclude the orders of the day. And the senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Pending announcements, I move that the Senate stand in adjournment until 1 p.m. Thursday, April.
Senator from Windham has moved that subject to any announcements, the Senate do adjourn until Thursday, April 21st at 1 p.m. Are there any announcements? Senator from Washington is recognized.
President, Senate Finance will meet at the fall of the gavel. We have Tom Tippett, our economist, waiting.
Senator from Caledonia is recognized.
The person.
You may.
I was thinking in terms of time expediency that a motion to message the action just taken on 740 might be considered.
Absolutely, I would consider that favorably, and I will give to the Senate Secretary to tell me when an appropriate time that would be.
To withdraw her, we can't do it because we have a pending motion. Needs to withdraw her motion to adjourn and do it back to it.
We would need the senator from Windham to withdraw the motion to adjourn. And
I had a sinking feeling about it. I withdraw my motion.
The senator from Windham has withdrawn her motion to adjourn, and the senator from Windham is again recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Without objection, I would like to suspend rules to message our actions to the House forthwith on the budget and the number is escaping me, so I will turn it to you.
The senator from Wyndham has moved that the rules be suspended and H 740 be messaged to the House forthwith. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you suspended the rules and message H 740 to the House forthwith. The senator from Wyndham is recognized.
Madam President, at this time, I really do move that we stand in adjournment until 1 p.m. Thursday, April 21st.
The senator from Wyndham has moved that subject to any announcements, the Senate do adjourn until Thursday, April 21st at 1 p.m. Are there any further announcements? The senator from Bennington is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Education will meet at 10 minutes after the fall of the gavel.
Senator from Washington is recognized, and then we'll move to the senator from Addison.
Thank you. I think I prefer to be from Wyndham County.
Oh.
That's okay. I love Washington County too, but thank you, Mr. President. Senate Government Operations will meet 10 minutes after the fall of the gavel.
Sorry, Senator. The senator from Addison is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Natural Resources and Energy will meet tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Are there any additional announcements? Senator from Wyndham is recognized.
Just briefly, Madam President, I just want to thank the senators. I know it's always hard when we change a schedule at the last moment, and I know it meant a tremendous amount for us to celebrate Senator Leahy and his career in that way, and I really just appreciate your patience with the last minute change of plans. It was the desire of the Leahy team for it to be as much of a surprise as possible, so we were really trying to honor that. So thank you very much. I think it was well received.
Are there any additional announcements? The senator from Wyndham is to adjourn until April 21st at 1 p.m. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.